The Landmark Society of Western New York presents Living Landmarks, Preservation in Action. Welcome to St. Joseph's Park. Look at this. It's Randy, Larry, and Beth from the Landmark Society. It's great to see you here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is wonderful
Yeah.
to see you. Great to see you, Sean, because the first episode of Living Landmarks at the Ellwanger Garden was fantastic. And now it's St. Joseph's Park's turn, and this place has always meant so much to me.
And thank you, Randy, for being sponsor of this episode.
Oh, you're welcome, Sean. Dan and I have loved being involved with the Landmark Society, and St. Paul Properties has been involved in the rehabilitation of historic buildings for over 15 years. And we are thrilled to sponsor Living Landmarks.
The Landmark Society really appreciates the sponsorship of St. Paul Properties, as well as the hard work that you put into being a Board of Trustee member. It's the work of our sponsors, the support of the sponsors and the members throughout the year that makes our preservation work, our programming, and projects like Living Landmarks, this video series, a reality.
Now let's talk a bit more about this amazing space. I feel this episode will really show the impactful work of the Landmark Society by joining a coalition to memorialize St. Joseph's Church after the terrible fire of 1974.
The cornerstone was laid for St. Joseph's Church in 1843, but the building wasn't completed until 1846.
It says here, the present tower is 167 feet 6 inches tall and was constructed in 1909.
So after the fire in 1974, the coalition was created between the city, SUNY Brockport, the church, neighborhood organizations, and the Landmark Society. But the Landmark Society was the only one who agreed to make an urban park out of the remains.
It says again, the demolition of the burned out portion of the church and the unstable walls was completed in January of 1980, and the park was dedicated on October 6th of 1980.
And do you know where these steps came from?
Well, it's really funny because I just spoke with Frank Grasso. The Landmark Society hired Handler Grasso, who was one of the top firms in working with historic buildings, to do this project. And Frank was telling me about these stairs, actually.
Used the steps from the building next to the church that was used as a home for the priest. When the building was dedicated, Ted Curtis, who was a prominent Rochesterian, he gave a speech from the steps of the church that was there.
Frank is a legend. That is amazing. It's just like, wow.
Yeah.
So the Landmark Society has this space designed, but what did they do with it?
Well, I wasn't here, but I happen to know that Beth has some personal knowledge about some of the uses.
I certainly do. I was married here. Rick and I were married about 15 years after Ted Curtis stood here and made his speech. It was a beautiful July day. And with that, we became probably one of, hundreds, maybe thousands of people who were exchanging vows in this place over the centuries. There was a point in time when WXXI Radio actually broadcast live music from here, from St. Joseph's Park, like jazz at lunchtime or a Madrigalia concert at Christmas, which was fantastic. Everybody would applaud with their mittens so you couldn't even hear it, but we knew that it was great music.
So Randy told me that her son and daughter-in-law took their engagement photos here. Isn't that cool?
Is that?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Right. Good to see you.
You know what, Larry? There's something really magical about this space. There's a peacefulness here that reminds me of the same peacefulness in the Ellwanger Garden, but it's in the middle of the city.
I know. I've been really lucky because in the last 9 years, I've been at most of the events that happen here, and I get to welcome people, and I always say there's something like really spiritual about this space.
You know what, Larry? That does make sense, understanding that this was a church. Wow,
That's right.
just amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, looks like we have some other guests joining us. Larry and I have been talking about what it feels like to experience this space. Now, I'm pretty sure each one of you have your own experiences here with St. Joseph's Park.
Yeah, I have the great fortune of coordinating ceremonies for our Bella Events group in this space. It's really unique. It's right in the heart of the city. People always walk in here and it's so magical.
You know what I feel is unique about this space? It's not what we see, but what's missing. Stained glass, the ceiling, the wall. And during our summer concert series that we had, I felt that music was actually filling what's missing. And that was the sort of special, magical part.
I love that. Now, Pilar, most of Shake on the Lake takes place outdoors, right? So what makes St. Joseph's Park different?
Right, Shake on the Lake performs outside. So when we get a chance to perform with the building, it really affects our storytelling. So the first time we performed here was in 2018 with Richard III, and the space is so perfect for theater, and it's even more special with Shakespeare. And it really represented a high watermark for our 10 years of performing.
Yeah, I agree. You know, space has special effect on performers. And just like silence in music has a special meaning, the missing part of this architecture is what actually affects us strongly.
People walk in here and look up and go, wow, what is this space? While others distinctly remember how devastated the community was when it burned down.
Yeah, and my feeling was that music was actually filling that phantom pain and healing that phantom pain that we had while in the space.
Yeah, I think about how all of us have interacted with this space and really created magic through music, through theater, and through weddings. When we staged our performance here, we actually had the audience look at each other, and that creates that communal experience that's almost spiritual, and it's very magical. And that's really the credit to the design of this park.
The words magical and spiritual are used quite often when people talk about St. Joseph's Park, which I think we might have to take a magical move forward.
Absolutely. You know, we're so lucky. Folks will be walking down the street. They'll walk in here coming from the hustle and bustle of downtown, and they're here. It's so private. You would never know that you're in the heart of downtown. And again, to the magic of it, you know, you're instantly transported.
And not knowing about that you're in the heart of downtown, I did not know about this plaque that's right here. What is this about?
When I was talking with Frank Grasso, he told me this great story about this fountain.
The whole park is kind of a unique concept. As a focus of the park, there was a fountain, and the fountain was given in honor of Bill Lee, who was the retiring president of Sibley's department store. It was paid for by the merchants. It was my design, and I worked with the stonemason to put those stones together. Bill Lee was known for his height. He was 6'6", and we made the fountain 6'6". It was a very nice feature, and the stone for the fountain came from the church.
We just appreciate the Landmark Society so much for inviting us into this space where we get to perform and celebrate and contemplate. So it's truly an asset that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world, just in the city of Rochester. So we want to thank you for your advocacy and hard work to bring this to life.
Oh, thank you, Pilar. Thank all of you for being here.
Thank you so very much for being here. And I think in order to celebrate this magical space, we should do that over a glass of wine.
Ah, sounds good to me.
Let's do it. Let us raise our glasses to the Landmark Society for all that they do in saving spaces and bringing communities together.
That's what we do. We live our mission, living landmarks. to our sponsors, St. Paul Properties,
To Living Landmarks. Thank you. Thank you all who were watching today for joining us on this episode of Living Landmarks. And be sure to follow our good work on Facebook and on Instagram. And if you missed episode 1, L. Wenger Garden, be sure to check it out on our website, landmarksociety.org. And while you're there, make sure you click on the donate button to make a tax-deductible donation. You know, we can't do this without you, and it's great to have your help. So, be on the lookout for our next episode, episode 3. Cheers to you.